On July 10, 1785, a courier was struck by lightning on a road in Bavaria. In his saddlebag, a document listing the names of every secret Illuminati member inside the French government. Here's the question nobody's answered. Why was that courier traveling toward Paris, not away from it? That document triggered a government crackdown, the exile of the Illuminati's founder, and 2 centuries of paranoia that still shapes how millions of people understand power. This isn't a conspiracy theory. This is what actually happened, and it's more disturbing than the theory. Here's what nobody tells you first. The man who founded the Illuminati was a Catholic canon law professor. Adam Weishaupt wasn't a rebel or a revolutionary. He was trained by Jesuits, and his first act was to build a society specifically designed to destroy Jesuit influence over European education. May 1, 1776. 5 men met in a forest outside Ingolstadt, Germany. Weishaupt called the group the Order of the Perfectibilists, the idea that humanity could be perfected through reason alone. He renamed it the Illuminati 2 years later. 5 members, 1 rented room, no money. Weishaupt's recruitment strategy was methodical and cold. He didn't advertise. He identified men with ambition, money, or influence, then had existing members befriend them for months before the Illuminati was ever mentioned. By the time a recruit was invited, he was already loyal to people inside it. The internal structure was tiered. Lower members had no idea who the higher members were. They communicated through code names drawn from ancient history. Weishaupt was Spartacus. His deputy, Xavier von Zwock, was Cato. New recruits were watched, sometimes for years, before advancing a single level. By 1782, the Illuminati had a problem and an opportunity arrive at the same moment. The problem? Weishaupt was running out of money and influence. The opportunity? A Masonic Congress in Wilhelmsbad, where every major European lodge would gather. Weishaupt sent his best recruiter. The Illuminati was about to absorb Freemasonry. Here's the reframe. Every history account describes the Illuminati infiltrating Freemasonry. But the seized documents show something different. Senior Masons were aware and cooperating. Some historians now believe the Wilhelmsbad merger wasn't infiltration. It was a negotiated alliance, which means the Illuminati was already being used by someone else. After Wilhelmsbad, membership exploded. 2,000 members across Europe within 3 years. Dukes, judges, diplomats, publishers, and at least 1 reigning prince. Duke Ernst II of Gotha was a confirmed member. He gave the Illuminati access to court communications in 3 German states. Weishaupt's internal memos, the ones actually recovered, describe a long-game agenda. Replace religious moral authority with rational ethics, remove hereditary monarchy from political decisions, and install educated administrators in government positions. Not violent revolution. Bureaucratic replacement. Slower. Harder to detect. More permanent. There was a spy network inside the spy network. Weishaupt's Quibus Licet system required members to report on each other, their ambitions, their weaknesses, their finances, and submit written profiles directly to him. He was building psychological leverage on every man in his organization. Trust was the trap. The calendar they used wasn't the standard European calendar. All Illuminati documents were dated using the Persian calendar with year 0 set at 632 AD, specifically to make dating correspondence harder to decode without knowing the system. Even the timestamps were a cipher. Then a member defected. Joseph Utschneider, a former initiate, submitted a formal complaint to the Bavarian electress in 1783. He described the structure, the code names, the surveillance, the political goals. The electress forwarded it directly to Karl Theodor, the ruler of Bavaria. The clock started ticking. Karl Theodor issued the first edict against secret societies in June 1784. The word Illuminati wasn't used yet. They didn't have proof. The Illuminati simply rebranded and kept operating. Weishaupt wrote to his members, "Stay quiet, stay close, this will pass." It did not pass. Now here's what changes everything. When Bavarian authorities raided Zwack's home in October 1786, they found the membership lists and the coded letters. But they also found something no historian fully explains: a list of women, named, ranked, assigned code names. The Illuminati had a secret female division nobody knew existed. The Bavarian government published the seized documents. All of them. Or so they claimed. The published collection runs to 4 thick volumes. Scholars who've worked through the archive consistently note that the document numbering skips. Gaps appear between items 21 and 25 in the 3rd volume. Nobody officially explains why. Weishaupt fled Bavaria in February 1785, before the lightning strike, before the full raid. Duke Ernst II of Gotha gave him shelter and a pension. He spent the rest of his life writing philosophy. He never recanted, never apologized, and never stopped corresponding with former members. The French Revolution began 4 years after the Illuminati was officially banned. Abbé Baruel published a book in 1797 arguing the revolution was a direct Illuminati operation. The timing, the rhetoric, the structural overlap in revolutionary cells, he documented all of it. Historians still argue about whether he was wrong. John Robison, a Scottish physicist and Freemason, independently reached the same conclusion as Baruel in 1798. 2 men, different countries, different research, same argument. Either they were both wrong in exactly the same way, or they were seeing something real. George Washington responded to Robison's book in a personal letter. Washington's letter, dated October 24, 1798, acknowledged that the Illuminati's principles had spread to America. His exact words: "The doctrines of the Illuminati had spread in the United States." He didn't say the organization was here. He said the ideas were. That's a precise and deliberate distinction from a man who chose words carefully. Here's the question experts cannot answer. The Illuminati was formally dissolved in 1785, but the membership list recovered in the raid includes men who were still alive and influential for decades after. There's no record of any of them being prosecuted, shunned, or removed from power. Not one. Why not? The most disturbing implication isn't that the Illuminati survived. It's that the exposure may have been the plan. A group with this level of operational security doesn't get caught because a courier gets struck by lightning, unless someone inside wanted those documents found. Controlled exposure, controlled narrative, maximum deniability. That courier struck by lightning in 1785, carrying documents toward Paris, not away from it. Here's the only honest answer: nobody knows who sent him. The origin point of that journey was never established. The Bavarian investigation closed the case without naming the sender. The document he carried listed 63 names. 62 are identified. 1 is still redacted. On July 10, 1785, a courier was struck by lightning on a road in Bavaria. In his saddlebag, the names of every Illuminati agent inside the French government. We've spent this entire video trying to explain that document, but now you know enough to ask the real question: who wanted it found?